There's 4 things that you need to do in order and repeat them again and again and again to get unstuck, to get off the ground, to get to the next level.
Let's go.
What's up, guys and gals? It's your host, the Chris Donaldson here, and welcome to another episode of the Chris Donaldson Project. We have some unfinished business to discuss, and today it's all about introducing to you the process to get to the next level. But before we do that, I've always got to introduce my man behind the ones and the twos, my co-host, my producer, the guy with all the real talent here, my man Art. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm good, man. We're in what is becoming the new podcast studio here, and so we're a little bit closer, and we were just talking. I'm like, man, in the other room, you were all the way on the other side. Now you're kind of a little bit closer. We could even fist bump during the episode if we have to, so this kind of feels a little more natural.
Right.
So it's been an interesting week here at Donaldson Companies. We're recording this episode towards the end of the week, and yesterday we had a blowout with the electricity. And so, Art, now that you've been here in a while, when the electricity goes out and the battery backups eventually run out, it was an interesting day yesterday, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was. You've mentioned this before, but even with the lights out, the professors were still doing their class in the dark, getting it done. It was cool. It was cool.
Yeah. So for those of you that have ever heard me tell stories, like we have class no matter what in my training organizations, we're going to be here for you. And so yesterday held true. In the dark, by flashlight, by iPhone, flashlight app, whatever it took, we had class. And then, of course, Art, once the battery backups were dead, we couldn't record content. You couldn't create. The phones were dead. What did we do?
Oh yeah, we got together and did some training with the team.
Yeah, we got together and used our time efficiently, where a lot of companies would have said, well, let's just close our doors. We decided to huddle up, and I think we got a lot accomplished yesterday. So I think that was one of Art's, if not one of his first meetings as a part of the overall team with Donaldson Companies. So it was good to have you in there so that you can see a little bit of the functionality of what we do and how much I care about the customer experience, which is a big part of what we were talking about yesterday. So for those of you that are new to the podcast, let me explain real quick. We call this a project because it is exactly that. I am an unfinished piece of business. Our companies have unfinished business, and it's likely that you have unfinished business. So the Chris Donaldson Project is really all about you. And part of it is that I want to help you get from where you are to where you want to go. And I'm going to do that a couple of different ways. One is to accelerate that by helping you to understand things that I have learned the hard way, things that I've learned from mentors, from research, so that you can skip the hard part and go right to the success part. Secondly, you can learn as we grow and as I grow from my mistakes. You can learn for the things that we're doing right. So I want to take you along the journey with us as we take Donaldson's companies and our training organizations to the next level and beyond. So I'm super excited for the podcast, for the early returns. And so as part of that, guys, we want to feature first our review of the week. And this one's a good one, Art. This one comes from Viria or Viria. She's got a really pretty name. So if you're out there, Viria, how would you pronounce that? See, I'm close enough to where he can.
Oh yeah,
Viria Gillian on YouTube. She says, Chris, I like the new format. I'm missing seeing your face, but I think I'm more focused on listening to you. I do this often with listening to audiobooks while in my car on my way to work. Thank you for your awesome advice. You're a great mentor. Faria, thank you so much for that pleasing review. That is the review of the week. You're amazing. And listen, we're still hanging out on YouTube, but I appreciate that you're checking out the podcast and checking out the new format. Of course, so many of us have commutes and fitness, and we go on runs, and I know that you guys are looking for content to consume, so we just want to be there in your universe doing it our way. So this is a special edition of the project, even though it's only episode 5 at the point that you'll be able to listen to this. And the reason it's a special episode is we are introducing a 4-part series that's going to begin with the next episode. So what's that? 6, 7, 8, and 9. And these next 4 episodes are going to introduce you to my 4-step process on how to get your business from where it is to the next level. So for instance, if you're just starting out and you want to get going, I'm going to give you the 4 steps and exactly what you need to do. If you are succeeding and you want to get to the next level beyond, right? So if you're middle size, if you're a real estate agent, as an example, and you want to get from I'm making it to I'm making awards, I'm making lists, I'm going to give you my 4-step process. I also want you guys to understand that if you're stuck in your personal life, in a situation, in something that you feel like you can't get out of, this 4-step process works for that too. So here's the deal. This is part of the project. And what I want you guys to understand is part of my unfinished business is that I have been through all of those various things or am going through them as well. I just started out in various businesses. I had just started out as a real estate agent, and I was in the same boat as so many where I had to figure out, right? Like, Art, you start Googling business advice and what to do to get started, and somebody tells you to watch on YouTube, and then you read this book. It can be really, really confusing. And so I know what that's like. And so I've done the work. I've read the books. I've had the mentors, still have the mentors. I've sought out advice from those that have what I want. And so basically what I decided was things are complicated oftentimes for the sake of being complicated. It doesn't have to be complicated in order to be effective. And so when you hear 4 steps, this is not a hack. This is not a shortcut. This is not okay, here's the 4 things you do and you're going to make $1 million. That is not the podcast. That is not what this show is about. So if that's what you're looking for, you won't find it here. But I'm also sharing with you, it doesn't have to be 49 steps either. There's 4 things that you need to do in order and repeat them again and again and again to get unstuck, to get off the ground, to get to the next level. And so in this episode, I'm previewing for you that we are going to unleash the 4 steps for you in detail. And Art has seen this is something that normally I reserve for our high-priced training seminars, our boot camps, the things that I do with small groups, almost one-on-one. And before the podcast started, Art's like, are you sure that you're going to share that free with the podcast universe? And I'm like, yes. That's exactly what the project is about, is that I want people to know the things that I had to spend 15 years of blood, sweat, tears, and all of those things to learn. And so I'm going to give you guys these 4 steps. If you're wondering, I'm not going to tell you right now. You got to listen to the next episode to get the first one. They go in order, and we're going to go in detail. I'm going to share stories, not only from me, but from others on how this has worked from them. I'm going to share with you where I learned some of these things from mentors, people that I have physically learned from, read their books, had the opportunity to listen to closely or one-on-one. People like John Maxwell and Tony Robbins, or maybe Tim Ferriss, Grant Cardone, Tim Grover, Dale Carnegie, Og Mandino, a whole bunch more. So in other words, guys, at this point, I've done a lot of work. And so now we're going through the process of trying to grow our business, and I'm taking you along with us. So if anybody's at like, hey, I'm kind of stalled out and I want to get to the next level, I'm literally giving you our business plan on how we're going to do it. The 4 things we're going to do and what we're going to do again and again and again and again. If you're just starting out, I don't care if it's a business from home. I don't care if it's supposed to be on the Forbes list. If it's going to be an international sensation, these 4 things need to be done again and again and again. So guys, this is just a preview episode. If you haven't listened, by the way, to the first 4 episodes, we started out hot. I wanted to make sure that you guys understood that the Chris Donaldson project here is something different than other things that you've seen out there before. So if you've watched Office Hours was live. By the way, Office Hours is not dead, if you guys are wondering. It's just on pause for a minute. But Office Hours was always live. It was video. We wanted to do something different. I wanted to expand and be able to explain and share a little bit more about myself and our shared struggles and the things that I know that you guys can overcome, because either I'm in the process of overcoming them myself or I've been there, done that. And by the way, I've got some pretty special guests and friends that I'm going to be introducing, having conversations with, that I'm going to share with you guys as well. So this is just a preview of the next 4-part series. And basically, Art will probably come up with a better title, but the way I describe it is how to get from where you are to where you want to go. It's 4 steps. So please subscribe to the project. Make sure that you leave a review on iTunes. Go to thechrisdonaldson.com, jump on the website, be a part of the email list. You do not want to miss out on the next 4 episodes, because this is where I'm literally giving you something I've spent my lifetime figuring out, and I want you guys to have it. I want you guys to have it because I want you to make it. I want you to get unstuck. I want you to get to the next level. Man, this whole thing is about you, and we're hopefully about to prove it. So for those of you guys that are new to the podcast, go to the website. You notice I call myself The Chris Donaldson, and that's where you can find me online. thechrisdonaldson.com, Facebook, The Chris Donaldson, Instagram, The Chris Donaldson. That's where I'm hanging out. Come say hello. Leave a review. We're also still hanging out on YouTube, by the way. So if you guys are looking for content there, I haven't left YouTube. And basically anywhere that you're consuming this, all that I ask is that you share it with a friend. Share it with 2 friends, right? So if you're a real estate agent, share it with one in another market. Be like, hey, check out the project. This is a new podcast. It's something brand new. Because as I was explaining to Art, one of my goals here is that I'm not trying to do whatever is being done out there. I'm doing things my way. It's the only way I know how to fly. However, I'm going to share with you, the podcast may be my way, but there's a lot that I've modeled and learned so that I can take the time out of the equation and accelerate things like business growth. So I'm pulling from both of those ends. With the podcast, this is my project. So let me know what you guys think. Please visit the website, and I will see you guys in the next 4 episodes as we give you the 4-part formula, the playbook on how to get from where you are to where you want to go. See you next time.
Turn up. Let's go.